Alright, replay review, Fallen Angel on Dehaka, Ultrac Pass. Initial thoughts on this comp, holy split push value, Batman. Your team has some insane global power. If this ETC was like a Johanna or a noob, I think this would be perfect. But even still, I think absolutely first with what you have, first objective at least, if not second objective too, you should have probably like two people splitting off. You and Falstad, I would think, just different side lanes, just constantly pushing. Weirdly enough, I actually think it's Zagara that stays back with the team because her stall is a lot better than either you or Falstad. Falstad has Q, but Zagara can just keep dropping summons and making it really difficult for enemies to channel objective. Um, Also, you could actually have four globals if you go stage dive and Nidus. That seems a little overkill though. Five globals rather. You have right wing. That's insane. I think that's a little overkill though. By contrast, their team looks a whole lot weirder. Vala really likes allies who allow her to step up and continue brawling, and she doesn't really have that. Stitches doesn't do that very well. He can step up if he goes Bile build, but knowing Stormleaf Stitches, he'll probably just go Hook Gorge. And even if he's Bile build, he doesn't really create that much space for her. Anduin can sort of keep her topped off, but there's certainly better healers to pocket Vala. There's a lot of kill threat off of Hook Gorge though. Like, if you get hooked to a waiting Greymane Tychus, you should just be dead. Although, you have E, Falstad has E, even ETC has Q, Brewing has Blink Heal, Zagara might be in trouble. If Anduin times his CC off of Hook, then it's a problem, but for most of your team. But if there's no waiting CC after Hook, most of your team does have escape abilities that probably mean they can get out. So you might even be fine versus that. And then, of course, the elephant in the room, they have no offlane. They don't even have anyone who's good at offlane. I guess it's Greymane splitting, but he's gonna have trouble. I mean, no self-sustain, not much in the way of escapes, not even great wave clear. It's okay. But, like, you or Falstad should outclear him, or Zagara. Yeah, I think draft-wise, you're just heavily favored if you play this correctly. Even if you just brawl, you might still win, just because they, they've got a weird comp. Stitches often runs into the issue when he's drafted of either Stitches player picks Stitches or someone else picks another hero, and like depending on who's what, it doesn't really matter, but you often get into the issues where if team's not on the same page, Stitches just doesn't fit in with the comp, but the comp doesn't fit with Stitches. Like Vala Stitches I talked about, they don't really work well together. Anyway, let's see how you do. I believe this replay you were specifically asking about advice on whether you should be at team fights or not, when you should rotate. So I'll pay special attention to that. Really what I'm thinking is just you should be not with objective at all for the first objective. I mean, exceptions apply. We'll see how it looks. Like, if there's a really good blower opportunity, for sure go for it. But I think the default, if, like, we're all in comms together, on the same page, I think the default is just we're going to split push first objective because, man, we do that so well. They don't have anyone who can really match split push. They need to rotate multiple people, which is insane for you. Yeah, like, one of my favorite strategies on Ultrac is basically this, but with a noob. Because not only can you stall objective, like if you instead of say Falstad ETC, you have like a new sorry not Falstad Cigar ETC, you have like a noob and I don't know Junkrat or Chromie. The like Junkrat or Chromie in this case Cigar also does it well. Can almost permanently stall objective and make it really difficult for enemies to cap. Well, you split push, so they don't really get value here. And if they rotate away or leave it alone, a noob can solo cap enemy objectives. So you have this sort of, you stop them from getting your objective, and you pressure enemy objective, and you're pressuring their buildings. It's a really difficult situation to put enemies in. Even still, I think that's great. Like, you don't really have the solo cap pressure on the enemy objective because ETC can't solo cap it, but you still have the potential of, if they all rotate away, like, you could just, Zagara and ETC can just sort of walk to objective and take it normally and apply pressure that way. Not as fast, but it still works. Unfortunately, in this case, looks like Zagara is going in fast, so they're going to be split pushing, which, from a naive point of view on this, looks fine. Like, I'm sure they probably picked Zagara specifically to set push. They're not looking at the rest of the team, and it's not a horrific misplay. Like, I definitely see where they're coming from, but I do think in this case they're the best staller. So weird as it is, I think Zagara wants to be the one stalling objective while everyone else split pushes. And Falstad went W build, which indicates that they want to be with the team. So these two are just going to swap, which I don't think is as good. Falstad doesn't stall as well as Zagara does, but I'm sure it can still work fine. There's not that much, like, again, they don't really have much walling or like zoning power, so there's not that much stopping Falstad from just like going in, throwing a Q or a W to stall, and then Eing out, and just doing that over and over again, especially with EGC with him, and presumably Right Wing. Right Wing can also just Q to stall, so you should still have enough stall, and Zagara split pushes. So, yeah, I think Falstad's actually your best split pusher in general because of globals and also pushing well, but it's fine. All right. Positioning in bushes at the start is good. I think it's better to position here. Positioning in this bush doesn't really get you anything, even if, like, there's no one going to be here for you to drag. Over here, there might be someone up here for you to harass. Holding this bush doesn't really do anything for you. I like stepping up as the wave is crashing. General general game plan as Dehaka, and you're starting mid with the team, is you just want to clear mid wave ASAP. Like, that's generally what you want to do anyway, but Dehaka especially, because clearing the mid wave gives you essence. So you clear mid wave and then you start rotating immediately, and now you have some essence saved up. Also stacks your quest faster. Q build follow, which is honestly probably the better choice for her. Not often I'll say that. I think at this point, 1 second. Sorry about that. I think after you use your W, those auto attacks, you clear most of the minions, you should just leave. Staying up here too long means you're eating damage, which counteracts the essence you're getting. And it's not worth stalling your rotate, because waves are about to crash. You just want to go here, throw your W, clear as much as you can, and then leave. Maybe your team clears the rest as you rotate out and you get some more essence. Maybe not. It's fine either way. Although, in fairness, you do want to stay for a couple more seconds. Okay, now you know that objective is spawning top. This is also why it's good to start mid as the offlaner, especially on this map. Cursed Hollow as well, so you know where the objective is. Because, say, there's no defined offlane on Alterac because it's largely vertically symmetrical. You do have this camp, which can influence where you want your offlaner to be. Like, if your offlaner's Hogger, for example, maybe you just want them top no matter what, so that they can head down and clear this camp as it spawns while someone else covers their lane. Um, in this case, perhaps since you're Dehaka, you want the opposite. You want to always be bot so that, because you're not going to contribute to camp clear, so you just want your team more in this area so they can clear camp. Valid. In this case, I definitely think you want to go bot. I guess it's mildly arguable, but I do think bot's better. Because generally, as an offlaner, and doubly so as a global, you always want to be opposite objective. Now, in this case, the only reason I'd say maybe you don't go bot, maybe you go top, is because you also have two other people that really benefit from being away from objective. You got Falstad, who's also a global, so I mean, global-wise, both of you are fine. You've also got Cigar, who wants to split push, especially with this infest pick. So being further away from objective means when objective comes up and everyone inevitably rotates there, she'll be furthest away and able to continue applying pressure relatively uncontested. Versus if she was up here or in mid, like it's a lot easier for teams to stall her while also being in range for objective. I would still go bot here because as the off like I don't know what everyone else's plans are, and I know as the offlaner and as the global I want to be bot. I don't want to force like Falstad or Sigardi go bot if they don't want to, and I just know I can trust myself to clear this wave and rotate now. Also, with Falstad's W pick, they probably don't really want to be split as much anyway. They just want to stack W. Yeah, I just head bot here. We're staying too long in either case. Like rotating to either lane is better than continuing to brawl mid. After you used your like initial abilities, I think you used like earlier too. You have no abilities here. You have another W. You're just brawling unnecessarily. Getting these side waves is your absolute #1 priority right now. Now you're gonna have to burn Burr if you don't want to lose. So you're not even trying though. Like this is already a major misplay. Not you spent far too long at sideline. So you're going top, which I don't love. I think bot would be better, but Cigar is heading bot, which is also fine as discussed. You know this guy's chasing you. You can actually hang out in this bush. Because he's gonna want to step up through here, and as soon as he does, he'll be slowed by the bud. You can get a free tongue and get some damage on him. Yeah. This way you're just actually eating damage instead. You don't actually have to clear the wave. Like you could fast forward up there. These are already small globes, so they're not going to despawn for a while. You could pop out of the bush briefly, attract them, and you could go back in the bush. But into ranged, uh, you're into a ranged character who can deal some significant damage to you. He's probably not going to kill you, but the weakness of Tychus up here is he's really easy for you to kill. So you don't actually want to push the wave, because if the wave's up here, you don't have much opportunity to kill him. If the closer the wave is to your tower, the more opportunities you have to sit in these bushes, flank him, zone him off the wave entirely, perhaps, or just look to drag him into the tower and get a kill. You don't you're not going to be moving much from here. Like mid's covered, bot's covered. There's nowhere else for you to go. So you're just going to be sitting top lane for probably the next minute at the very least, if not more. Um, so there's no reason to clear the wave. You'll get the XP either way. I'd definitely be looking to get into bushes here. Like just sitting in the wave staring at him is going to be advantageous for the Tychus usually, especially since he has the minions. There's almost no chance you catch him with just a lucky rock tongue for damage. You need to be in the bushes so he can't auto you, and also so you can get the speed and the flanks to get a tongue onto him. Good. He's positioning up there, so I just use this movement speed from the bush to run directly at him. You're just looking to zone him off the wave, trade damage into him, leverage the fact that you heal and he doesn't, and hopefully force him out of lane. Again, don't need to clear the wave. It's perfectly fine if the wave pushes into your tower. Alright, let him use minigun too. That's good. Good trade actually. He kind of just stood still and let you eat that. So here, waves pushed in. You have two options here. You can either look for a quick rotate mid, or maybe even a half rotate where you just sort of head down here, see if anything's happening, and if not, you just head back up. Or you can sit in a bush. There's almost nothing happening mid right now, so I would sit in a bush, probably this bush since it's further up. I would ping assistance on camp to try and get someone to rotate there. This bush is also not bad. The reason I say this bush is just because it's closer to where he's going to come out. He's going to come out from here, and the distance from this bush to the gate is much less than the distance from this bush to the gate. Base crash here. If you're in here, you're actually behind his wave, so if he steps up to hit your wave, you're in a position to flank him. If you're here, he steps up to hit the wave, you're running like vertically down towards him, and you can just backwards. That's also important because this wave is going to make it difficult for you to tongue. Yeah, so he just moves backwards and you don't get anything. If you came from this direction, he eased backwards, he's still on top of you. Get back in a bush. Again, you don't need to clear this wave. He is fine. I think it would have been better to hold it, especially since if you were just in a bush, but it's fine. You probably don't need it. I pop Essence. Pop Essence sooner rather than later. You don't have a tap. You definitely don't want to burn Dig, so just pop Essence now. Look for a tongue here. Nice. Dragging him back was a little bit of wasted DPS. You're not going to get a kill on him. You're just looking to chunk him there. Pop your D. Pop D. Pop D. So, yeah, okay. Good job popping D. I would have and popped it earlier. Like, you don't lose anything from popping it earlier. He's not gonna be able to burst you right now, probably. But you're here with the DOT ticking, which means this is sort of fake health. If he has sufficient burst to do 700 damage right now, you're dead, despite all this DOT. If you pop it earlier, this is real health, and you actually have, like 2,000 health, that he's going to have a significantly harder time bursting. Oh, if you land that tongue, he's dead. Unfortunate. Still, decent trade. I think you could have played this better, but you're winning, which is fine. So by the way, okay. First of all, we're going to talk about Dehaka wave clear breakpoints, because you could have cleared this wave significantly quicker. Well, actually no, because you're trading with um you're training with Tychus. You're not throwing auto attacks on him. That's valid. All right, we'll leave it for now. I'll see if you mess up when you're actually just clearing a raw wave. All right, now this burrow is a little odd. I see the reason for it. I think your team could have fought bot and you could just afford to stay top, but this is also fine. The thing is, you burrowing bot here means it's difficult for Zagara to go bot, and Zagara wants to go bot because she has all this creep set up. Zagara doesn't rotate very well, especially when she's trying to split push, and she's getting good value down here. You're going here to pick up Soak, which is okay, but I do think Zagara is probably already looking to head bot, at least she should be. And you being here means she more needs to head top, set up again, and also be closer to objective, which is difficult for her split pushing. It also means you have burrow down for objective, which is the bigger issue. We'll see if that's relevant though. Good job holding W here. Ah, you were so close. Okay, so you see how this wave is crossing your gate right now? That means the enemy wave is doing the same. So you're about to have waves crashing very quickly. And your W being down now, because you just used it on 3 minions, so you're not going to have it when the full wave crashes. You're going to have to wait for your W to be up, and that delays your wave clear. When you have this, when you have like a little bit of a wave still here, and another wave crashing, just wait for the wave to crash before you're using your wave clear ability. That way you can clear both of them quicker. Because these minions aren't going anywhere. You don't need to leave right now, and you aren't going to want to leave right now because you have another wave that you want to deal with first. So clearing these minions a little bit quicker doesn't mean anything when minions are about to take their place in another 2 seconds that you're going to want to clear as well. You could have, yeah, you could be clearing the wave right now. You don't care about their damage. You have enough essence saved up. Really, you'd probably just clear this immediately and then look for a rotate up. But you have to wait a little bit now. There's no reason to get out of the bush. You just wait, yeah. Now, in the bush, go immediately for the wave. Let's see how you clear it. Okay. We will talk about Dehaka wave clear breakpoints. So, with the quote-unquote bug fix to Dehaka's W a few patches ago, he got blindingly fast wave clear after the first few levels, as long as you do it correctly. And what that means is W does not need to clear the entire wave until about level 13, with or without Ferocious Stalker. Even without Ferocious Stalker, it basically one-shots the wave. So you need to throw some autos to kill the wave. And the way you do that is in a just standard wave setup where you got enemy wave, your wave, they're both hitting each other. You just auto the backline minions a certain number of times. At level about level 1 to 3-ish, you need to auto each backline minion 3 times for the W to kill them. At like level, I want to say 3 to 8 or 9-ish, I think it's 8, you need to auto each backline minion twice. And level around 8 to 13 or so, you need to auto each backline minion once. So you just sort of walk into the wave, press W, auto, 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 auto. This wave is cleared. Because the mage minion will die to your W, and the frontline minions will die to your W plus the enemy minion waves hitting them. In the earlier levels, you may potentially need to then throw another auto or something on a front line as it's dying, but just to finish it off. But after level um what did I say? After like level 3 or possibly 8. No, I think it's 3. No, it would be 8. Your auto attacks take less time than your W does, so you actually have some downtime after you've done all your autos on the back lines to throw an auto or two on whatever minion on the front has the most health. So yeah, if you're trying to clear a wave as quickly as possible as Dehaka, which you were in that case, that's the way to do it. Good tongue, by the way. Unfortunately, a little bit too far away from towers to get any damage. So here you're just taking free damage. Like, even though they don't really have that much damage thrown on you, free autos are still free autos. You have essence saved up, and you should pop it here, because you're going to want to refill your essence bar, and any essence you get here from these minions is a waste, because you're basically at full essence already. So, yeah, better wave clear. Wait for the minions to group up first of all, because even if you're not autoing, like ignoring the auto inefficiencies, you're not even hitting the entire wave with W, which you absolutely want to do. Yeah. So this wave is clear already if you let the minions group up and you do your auto thing, because it's literally the um, it's the duration of W that you need to clear a minion wave that's correctly positioned that you're autoing correctly. And yeah, the fact that you don't have C here is actually really punishing you right now. Well, no, you're kind of winning this. You could be winning it, but just the fact that you can't look here, problem. It doesn't matter because your team is winning this, but it's just something to keep in mind, saving your Z for objectives. So yeah, you actually had to that minion wave took like 11 seconds to clear. It could have been cleared in 4. I just want to point out that massive difference. So I think you're actually just staying bot here, by the way. It's not an awful idea to double soak. Good, yeah, you need to let these waves group up. You need to. You're taking so long to clear. This wave could be cleared already. I'm not kidding. And yeah, and the fact that the wave isn't cleared means not only did you take longer to clear that when you could have been rotating, you took so long to clear it that you actually felt like you needed to rotate before the wave was even cleared, which is horrendous. I don't hate looking here, but yeah, I guess you could just sort of walk up. Okay, choose one though. Your choices here, coming into this team fight, or you're either walking up here this way, and just looking to either get in this bush or just get a random tongue in full vision, or you're sitting in this bush as your team falls back and sort of baiting them into you. Walking up and then walking back here, you're not getting value. Also, if you're insane, what you could do, the big brain move, is even though it's not global value, you could have burrowed into this bush for a flank that they wouldn't see coming. They'd hear it coming, but they might not react. W doesn't do much here. It helps clear the minions, I guess. Is that relevant? I don't know. I like getting in this bush. Yeah, dip into the bush for the movement speed, then come down, look for a drag. Just go for the stitches. You don't need to look for their backline. It's fine to just drag the stitches. Like, you're zoning, but for what? You get this drag, but there's no damage follow-up. Good try with the drag. Need to pop essence, nice. Good. All right. Immediately go. Burrow bot. Burrow bot. You're either looking to grab top or you're burrowing bot. Because you're missing soak. This is still fine. At least you're going bot. Good job dipping in bushes for the movement speed. Yeah, and all these range minions could have been cleared by now. And if the range minions deal significantly more damage, so the faster you clear those, the less damage your wave takes, the quicker it pushes. Wait, oh, you should have gone for a drag on that guy. Him Eing onto you is the freeze drag of your life, because he can't stop his E in motion. When he presses E, he's going to leap directly onto your face, and that's an easy drag. And this zone gives you damage, so you could chunk him really well. Entire team being bot is a little sketchy. This is a good dive, though. I take it back. Good drag, good follow-up, good kill. I would honestly burrow into this lane here. But that's fine. Another good drag. Yeah, I would be mid. Like, you're missing mid soak right now. I think your team can get this fort even without you. But you're getting really good drag kills, which is helpful. Yeah. Good time to back. You're out of mana. Alright, where are we going? You pinged top. So you can actually start burrowing a little bit sooner than this. Just because you'll continue to regen your mana and such while you're in the burrow animation. Opening with W is a little inefficient there. If you're level 13 and have the slow on W, it's arguably fine because the W sets up a slow for you to tongue off of. But opening with W doesn't really do anything for you. And if anything, it just misses some damage. Like, cause yeah, she had spent a couple ticks outside of W range. I wasn't taking damage from it. There's another wave crashing top. You should be staying top to get that. Absolutely need to be staying top to get that. Zagar already has mid. You're missing top, so for this rotate for no value. Now you're both rotating top for some reason. All right. Well, I actually do like you mid more. There's not many bushes here for you to play around, but I like Zagar on the side lane better with the build she's going. The tongue here is largely irrelevant. Also not really that much of a waste, since this is nothing we're going to need to use it for the next few seconds anyway. You should be rotating bot here, by the way. Good job. Probably you could have dipped into one of these bushes for some boost speed. I assume you're going to dip into this bush, though. Yep, nice job. Generally doing a really good job with dipping into bushes on the rotate. I think a lot of the Dehaka players miss. Yeah, it was a good use of W. You could have, yeah, and you could have saved W because your wave was about here, so theirs was about here, so they're gonna crash again soon, and you're a little bit off the cooldown, but not enough that I think it matters much. Yeah, so just auto correctly. Yeah, so you see how your W completed? You autoed this range minion twice, so it died a lot sooner, but in your W ended and this guy's still alive. If one of your autos had gone on this guy instead of this guy, both of them would be dead. This guy dies to minions, you can rotate out. Instead, you're going to want to throw another auto on this ranged guy. Oh no, even worse. You throw an auto on the melee guy and then the ranged guy. The melee guy was dead to your massive wave here. You don't need to touch him at all. We'll dip into this bush and you're just looking to come up. Dip into this bush too to refresh the move speed. Or this bush. A little bit inconsistent pathing. Okay, what's this burrow? Good burrow. I would have gone around to the left and tried to pressure these guys. The going around to the right is also fine. I just don't know how much a drag matters on them compared to one of the backliners. I think the zoning power is more relevant. Good. Good drag. Fortunately, no follow-up. Great clear. So I'm gonna be that guy, by the way. Your ult didn't get any value this fight. Isolation easily gets value somewhere. An apps is a target-rich environment for isolation there. Gonna generally be keeping an eye out for if adaptation gets value because generally this build really likes isolation. Isolation's already a good ult, but especially in this build just because of how it plays. And bad wave clear. Wait for the wave to group up. Auto the ranged minions. I also just like sitting in this bush here. You can afford to be aggressive. You know most of them are top. If you're coming down here, just sit in this bush. You saw Stitches, he doesn't matter. Um, I assume you're coming down here because you want to turbo clear this wave and push into their keep. So rotate more aggressively. Like, I don't know where you're going here. There's nothing for you to do. I think you don't actually know what you're doing based on this. So you saw your wave up here, which means it's going to be nothing over here for you to do. Your options for rotating down. Your options after that fight, which I do agree was good to rotate away from. You borrowed in, you won the initial, you did your thing, got a kill. Staying longer was not that relevant. So rotating down was good. So your options were either you're pushing mid, you're rotating bot to push this into keep and apply more pressure, or I guess you're doing objective, which is looks like what you're doing now. Fine. You can't ever do this, by the way. They always get there in time. Um, so I assume, yeah, if you had picked Ferocious Stalker sooner, and to clear this, dip back into the bush first, the W almost clears the entire thing. And then, again, you space out your auto attacks better. Now it clears them. You can go for the channel. Just be ready to react to Stitches Hook with your E. Fantastic. And now it's too dangerous. Dip into that bush. You shouldn't die. Yeah. So, ult was used just to deny some damage. You were fine anyway, but I guess decent isolation. It wasn't going to... It didn't save your life. You weren't ever going to die there. Actually, if she has all her abilities up, you might. Like rotating down. Right now, right now, you guys are playing exactly how I want you to play. You're just Giga Ratting. No one's touching this objective. Your team is just going for top fort. You're just pushing out all the waves. You're just being incredibly annoying to them. I don't know if I love this burrow. I think you can just walk up for this and save your burrow. Ah. Good try. Good try. See, now if you had your burrow, what you could do is, like, burrow down here to look for a flank, or over here. Your, oh, sorry, Brush Ducker. This is technically burrow. Your Z doesn't need to be necessarily used to global. It can also be used to find flanks. Much like False Dad Zing behind the enemy team to Gust, you can just Z behind the enemy team to look for flanks. Dehaka really likes flanks. Because Dehaka, walking up in full vision with no bush move speed is really sad. You're going to find almost nothing doing this. You're entirely at the mercy of like your ETC landing a slide so you can get in range. Or Greymane like jumping on your team so you can drag. You're going to find absolutely nothing doing this. You need a bush. Yeah, that bush. And then honestly, I'd go into that bush, and I think it's this bush, chain it into this bush, then you just walk all the way over here into this bush, and that way you're on a really good flank. If they stick around here, you have a flank on them. If your team goes for objective, uh, then your team is sort of over here playing objective, and you're down here, and you can still find a flank. And Dehaka really likes flanks. And you have adaptation and decent amount of essence, so even if they find you and your E, you should be fine. Honestly, I think at this point I just go clear mid. Nothing's happening here. Fantastic, you're going. Love it. Yep, bush into this. You don't care about them. You were close. You don't care about these guys. Like, your team is not in position to take advantage of a flank of a tongue anyway. I guess maybe if she lets you tongue you and you drag her through this bush, she's in range of ETC. You can then, like, mosh her. This is maybe a kill if a lot of things go right. But largely, your team's not in range. It's better to just go up here, clear the wave. You don't care about Gray main. You're gonna honestly get more at healing through your essence from clearing this wave than he's going to do to you. Unless he jumps on you, in which case you tongue him. Ah. I do like you playing around bushes, though. Ah. Missing these tongues is brutal, but it's just mechanical errors. It's fine. Yeah. I don't think you're... So, and you still have plenty of... So you're running in, and I think... Alright, so let's look at this. I don't mind you staying in this bush here. And I wish you were in, like, this bush, or even playing for this bush. With the adaptation pick, you can afford to be incredibly aggro with finding flanks and holding bushes. Because they basically can't kill you. I think here you just turn on stitches. It's better to get the easy turn on stitches than, try to... You're not zoning for anything. You're already at the front. Um, they're going to be hitting you, if anyone. Going even further away from your team doesn't do anything for you. This is an easy tongue on stitches. It might not kill him, but it does a lot of damage to him. And again, stitches is a much easier target. She's very difficult to hit, and you miss. Even if you hit, I don't know how good it is. I honestly think a hit tongue on stitches is better than a hit tongue on Vala. Let me back up. But team's still fighting here. Like, at this point, you rotate away, as I remember. I think this is a mistake. If you're rotating to mid, maybe it's okay. Because you can rotate to mid, then look for a burrow Z into here or here. But where you go is a little odd. Could, like, dip back into this bush and look for something as they step up. This is a fantastic Maw. Like, team should absolutely be playing around this. We got a two-man Maw. The fact that you're clearing bot wave is a big mistake. I don't care that the false dead pinged retreat. Look at how the fight's going. The fight's still solidly fine for you, and then we land a two-man Maw, and you're still walking away. Like, look at this. Your ETC's in their backline. If you're contributing damage, this follow's dead. Your false dead just got gorged. If you're in the range to Q him, or Q the stitches, then the gorge gets no value. Shoot, even if you're down here and can Q the Tychus off of your ETC, maybe ETC doesn't die, but you're clearing bot wave. Yeah, and now we just use. Now the fight's definitely lost. You body blocked your false stat a little bit here. I don't really blame you for it. It happens. Still win this? There's no way. Wait, when did adaptation get used? Right here? Okay, so you adaptation while no one was hitting you. Yeah. Isolation gets value this fight. Adaptation barely got any. This is certainly one of the fights of all time. If you auto the false stat the Vala there, by the way, even once, you don't need to use your Q, and then you have Q right here, and you can kill the Greymane. You need to weave a lot more autos in than you're doing. Alright, honestly, I just go top and apply pressure on the keep. The fight is largely lost here, but not hard enough that they can cap. I don't think you need to be here. Skip to the bush for the W13, good. You also don't need to move. You can just stick yourself in the middle of the wave and press W and just not move. By like moving around there, you slowed your clear down a little bit to where you had to stay to auto attack a couple minions. Yeah, I like if you're top right now, you could get Giga value. I don't think it's worth Zing up there, but if you just walked up there and pushed into their keep, you could hold Z to come down when your team needed you. Like they're not trying to contest objective here. The time you spend walking into the bush for W13 is longer than it would take you to clear the wave. W13 does speed up your wave clear, but even without this talent, you can you can still clear the wave just with a raw W with the minions grouped up nicely like that. Now we walked up? No. Alright, yeah. You have Z. You can join your team at any point. Enemies aren't on the map. There's nothing your team's fighting for, and Dehaka just walking around with the team does not get much value, as discussed. You need to be playing around bushes largely. Um, so you get, even though you're up 16, you get better value split from your team here because at any point you can always burrow in on a flank, uh, and have a fantastic position and still fight up 16. At some point your team will find them and you can join them. Right now you're not doing anything. Like if you were top here, even just pushing out another wave or two, we're here. Enemy team shows up, you can burrow here. Fantastic flank position. Yeah, the fact that you're not in bushes and not playing around the bush move speed means it's a lot more difficult for you to find anything. Just tongue the stitches, please. I beg of you. Stop trying to go for these like backline flank things. Just need to be see, yeah. When you get you popped adaptation too late, first of all. You popped it when you were half health. You need to pop it when you're running in there, because they're going to hit you. And then when you get low, press E so they can't kill you, and you have time for adaptation to go off. Just press ED and heal back to full. That tongue there killed you because you can't burrow when you have tongue on someone. Because of your death, now your team has to give this. Yeah, if you're just in like a bush flanking here or here, and you can walk up and just get a tongue, it's so much easier for you. Your biggest feedback here so far, and I assume it's gonna continue for the rest of the game, is actually not really about whether to join team or not. Largely, I think it's okay. You're okay with that. You've had some mistakes the last few minutes with that, but more importantly, I think you're missing wave clear efficiency and fundamentally how to play Dehaka in fights. If you're W built, how you're playing is fine because W just kind of wants to walk at people and doesn't care necessarily about getting tongues or getting good positioning. As long as they're on someone, they're fine. But this build, especially this build, is very opportunistic, sort of ambush predator style. You need to come out of bushes, grab a target, pull them into your team, get kills, or even just threaten the flank, so they always have to pay attention to you. Again, a Dehaka with no bushes, just sort of walking directly at you, is very much not threatening. Oh wait, let's rewind. Alright. Okay, we respawn. We respawn, come on. Okay. And you're immediately digging into the fight. So, I see why you're doing that, because team is fighting. Now, the question is, with Zagara immediately dying after this, or before you respawn, is this still worth? It's a tricky one. So, normally I'd say no, because obviously 4v5, not something you want to fight. It should just be Zagara's dead, let's back up. However, Before she died, she did land a very good Maw, and ETC still has Mosh. So this right here, if ETC like walks up and presses Mosh, I think it's actually insane because we know Anduin used Light Bomb earlier. We saw that. Uh, and all is in Mosh. There's almost no interrupts. There's Tychus. I don't know what his if his W's up or not, but I think it's still worth trying. Let's actually see. Do we have slide up? Where is our guy? We do not have slide up. Yeah, I still think you mush this. Like you have to try. Nice. Ah, he did have it up. Unfortunate. Yeah. So unfortunately we do lose this fight. Never mind. Never mind. E, good E, good E. Okay. Yeah, that was value. You zoned a whole bunch of people out, distracted them, got some damage in. They should get this Greymane. Good. Free drag. You love to see it. So, dragging him back is good, but in this case, just dragging him back isn't enough, because you're not going to have the follow-up damage just isn't there to kill him. So, actually, as drag ends, what you want to do is abuse the fact that you don't have collision with your drag target. You want to drag him back a little bit, then walk through him, and get in a position to body block him after drag is over. Because if you can body block him enough to get another few autos off, you can get massive drag CDR, and you might even be able to drag him again before he's out of your range. Yeah, because you drag him and then you keep walking backwards. So this turns into what possibly could have been a kill to absolutely not a kill. I think that's sort of a mechanical error, though. I assume you're just rapidly clicking backwards. Drag ended and you didn't stop clicking backwards fast enough. Yeah, just keep that in mind for next time. Actually missed dipping in the bush there. I just walk top now. Zag pinged on the way, so that's fine. You can let Zag deal with it. I'd walk bot then. Just try and clear out the bot thing before it hits the walls. Team mid largely has this covered. Or you can walk top and help Zag. That's not an awful idea. They can go bot after this. Unfortunately, they sort of left the wave. I like just sitting in this bush. You don't even need to make a play. The longer, yeah, again, the longer you sit in this bush, the more he's zoned. Now that he saw you walk out of the bush and walk back, he knows all of this is clear. He can walk up to here and auto attack you for free. He doesn't. He's a little scared. But, yeah. The punish for that play was not there. This is a really good flank into this bush, and you're looking. Oh, it's massive. So again, isolation here, enormous. Fantastic. You don't care about this forge. Look for. Don't be afraid to tongue stitches again. Like immediately out of this Scourge, you can tongue him. No, yeah, if you tongue down, it's an easy drag on him. You don't need to get their backline all the time. Like tank is perfectly fine. Chunking their tank is valid. You might even be able to kill him. I'd head top again. You have burrow up. This it's a largely a waste of a burrow. You get to start boss maybe a little bit sooner for your team, but you don't contribute enough damage where you being there like 5-10 seconds sooner is going to make a massive difference on boss. And now this burrows down. I don't think you burrowed into fights occasionally in the early game, but the later this game goes, the less you're using burrow to actually split and join team. Like the standard Dehaka playbook is split, you push, you double soak, you stay in the side lanes as long as possible. When the fight breaks out and it's like going to stay broken out and you can get value, you burrow into a flank bush, you run out, you tongue someone, you get a kill, and you leave. Maybe you also throw an isolation, double 2. Kill 2 people. You can also use Q on this, by the way. Secret technology, Feeding Frenzy massively reduces the cooldown of your drag. So just on these stationary targets, drag is, a solid 300 damage. It actually increases your DPS by a good bit. It's good for sieging too. You can just keep throwing your Q on buildings. Dip into buildings for this, or dip into this bush for your W13 damage bonus. Just helps race a little bit better. The auto attack or two you miss here is fine. Also, if you're more oriented towards this bush, you see this coming in. This is a really early E. You should have just popped D and called it a day. Nice, this guy ints. You love to see it. Cool. Fortunate. See, now if you had Burrow here, so if you had either gone top to push out a few waves before digging in, or if you had just walked bot, um, you could then dig top and push out top wave. Teams played, by the way, you have a couple options here, and this is like ideal situation. You can do whatever you want in this case. Going for objective is the wrong play though. It's certainly one of the options and it's appealing, but I think the best choice here is one of your globals heads top. So Falstad or you. It can't be you because you've used your global. Um, It'd be Falstad. It can't be Falstad either because he used his global at some point. Okay, so neither of you can really hit top. You could maybe walk top and that's fine, but the bulk of your team should be pushing bot looking for this keep. Because you're up 20, there's two dead. They can't contest you anywhere on the map. There's nothing they can do to stop you. You're making by walking away here, you're making the very classic Storm League boss mistake of assuming that because you got boss, that's value. You just won something huge. Not pushing with boss and not taking advantage of boss pushing, which are two different things, actually means that the fact that you took this largely doesn't matter that much. Also, the kills that you get don't matter that much. So the value you get from boss is either you directly push with it and get structures, or you use the fact that they have to respond to boss to go get something else on the map. Like classically on alt track, it's like you get one boss, then you get the other boss, and you just sort of pressure the map just on a large scale. So, uh, now the second option of boss, that is pushing to get them to clear it, or sorry, taking advantage of the fact that boss exists and knowing that they have to clear it to go get value elsewhere on the map, isn't really relevant here because they have two dead. You already get whatever else you want on the map just because they can't contest you just naturally. So your option to get value out of boss is just to push with it. Now, one could argue if there was something better to do on the map, you could potentially do it because you could say the value was we baited them into fighting us on boss. Um, we got 2 kills. Now we can use those kills to do something. But there's not really anything better to do on the map. The things you can do, the large scale things you can do on the map are either take objective, get top boss, or push a building. One of the buildings already being pushed with boss. So if you want to do that, like this is just the best building to go if you want to push. This fort, not as important as this keep, largely irrelevant. And honestly, you can probably just take it easily at some future point. Getting this keep push is the best push you can get. This other keep push is also valid, perhaps if you want to split your team up, which is again why I think one person goes top and the rest push bot. Maybe you can play for double keeps, which would be huge and sets up for just objective to win later. This objective is bait, by the way, because you've got massive control of the map. You know, a boss pushing, you have 2 people dead. Again, you can do whatever you want. Objective doesn't really take advantage of this because you're using your giant map advantage to sit here for like probably close to a minute. Gives them time for them to get up. Like they can get up in time to these Fallen Tychus can clear boss, and these guys can get up in time to fight over objective. Now you'd still be up 20, so you'd probably win, but it's not pushing the advantage that you have right now. This boss, arguable. It's better than the objective because you can take it faster than objective, and you could potentially take this boss and also channel objective, and after that, and sort of just chain boom value, boom value, boom value, um, like a quick 1, 2, 3 strike. But again, I think it's a little worse than just pushing with this boss because you've taken this boss. The double boss, again, kind of takes advantage of the fact that you've taken the first boss, so now they have to defend it, so now you take the second boss. They already can't stop you from doing anything. So this boss, because like the end result is eventually you've taken the first boss, then you take the second boss, now you still have to get value with this second boss, or else sort of both were wasted. Um, you just skip the second step. You can just get value with the first boss instead. So that's a very long-winded way of saying you should be pushing bottom, and you're not pushing bottom. This is a mistake. I mean, you got this kill, so you sort of extend your lead. You get a nice little stagger. Yeah, now you're going for another boss. So again, you take the second, you take the first boss, now you take the second boss, and presumably you're gonna get value with the second boss. I hope. Now this is a little awkward because you don't have damage with you. You need Zagara to do this quickly. But like, let's take a look at this. It's got one wall. So yeah, the first boss that you took is going to get the front wall and a little bit of keep damage, not that much. Well played HOTS is all about pressing your advantages. You want to get value off of kills. You want to get value off of objective, off of bosses. Um, Otherwise, if you're just getting all these wins but not turning them into push and long-term value, they don't matter because it doesn't matter how ahead you are right now. If you don't turn that into permanent map wins, namely structures, eventually these guys just hit level 22 and this advantage means nothing. People respawn, enemy levels go up, kills, XP differences, whatever, only matter so much as you can use them. Now, pushing with this is good call. So your first boss got the front wall and like a little bit of keep damage. Your second boss is actually going to get even less because somehow down 20, these guys are just going to clear this for free. Dip into this bush, W13, clear this wave, good. Yeah, so your second boss is going to get largely the same. Actually, okay, that's a really good tongue. Not quite good enough, though. Alright, so you should get objective here at least. Absolutely uncalled for, by the way. And not even necessarily true. Yeah, she got hit by a root, and then the root set up a hook. Unless you're talking about, like, the maw, she tried to maw the Stitches before he could gorge her. Cool, you need to leave here now. I need to D or E. Yeah. Good dodge the light bomb. By the way, if you are isolation 20, you wipe their entire team there. Or something. Like, that's easy, massive isolation spread. Right, but we have adaptation 20. Let's see how we use that. And we should use that by walking into them a lot more. So you drag this guy out of Mosh, by the way. And away from team. That's kind of just an oopsie. You could have dragged the same time Mosh goes off. Uh, Good drag, and we should win off that. Cool. I'd burrow bot here, like this bush. No bush here, really? I'm thinking of Towers of Doom. Yeah, I'd burrow into this bush and just push bot hard. Could push top too, but we want to get both keeps. This will get a keep because no one's defending it, fortunately. They've always doing that one thing. You'll have to see it. Anyways, you can actually tank the keep with adaption. You heal more than it does damage to you because adaption 20 makes you heal for twice the damage you take. So you actually can heal the full off of the keep hitting you. And that takes some well, I mean, it doesn't because you hadn't hit a hero to proc the call for help, so it would automatically switch to the wave, but nice tech. Good drag. Kill. Alright, yeah, then this is a little bit of a wrap. Cool. Yeah. Talent-wise, I do think Isolation is the better pick. Adaption did end up getting some value. You definitely could have used it better. I don't think Adaption 20 got much value, but also most 20s don't get value. If you were Isolation 20, like you could have won the game maybe a bit sooner, but you ended up winning the game anyway, so largely irrelevant. Yeah. So large scale feedback. First of all, better wave clear efficiency is the easiest thing you can fix. Again, you want to let the wave group up, and then walk into the wave, press W, and start alternating auto attacks on the ranged minions. Levels like 1 to 3-ish, ranged minions need 3 autos each to die, to the autos plus W damage. Levels like 3 to 8-ish, it's 2 autos. After like 8 to 13 or so, it's 1 auto. And then after like 13 or so, W just clears by itself, even without W13. Although W13 still speeds up wave clear significantly, so it's worth taking. Um, yeah, that'll just let you clear a lot faster, lets you rotate a lot faster. The other thing to look to improve on is just general how to play Dehaka in fights, which is again, you want to play around bushes a lot more, especially flanks. Dehaka loves being in flank bushes. Walking up with no bush, just in vision, very low value. Walking from a bush in the flank, very high value. And you have a button to get you into any flank bush that you want. So as an extension of that, you also don't really want to be in a fight as it starts. You want to stay in side lanes as long as possible and Z into fights, into a flank bush, walk out, throw your abilities, get value, get kills, and then leave. You spend far too long sort of staring at the enemy team. You're on your side, they're on their side. You kind of walk up, hope they get hit by a tongue. They don't get hit by a tongue, or they do get hit by a tongue because they're stupid. Maybe you get value, maybe you don't. Uh, the other thing for tongues too, don't be afraid to tongue tanks. Like this is still sorry, 1.75. It's like yeah. It's a long stun, almost 2 second long stun, which is still really good on a tank. You're like tanks are killable. If you stun tanks for a while, your team will kill them. Your tongue doesn't need to result in a kill either. Even if you tongue stitches and your team only does like half his health bar in damage, that's a lot of damage. It forces him to back off. It forces enemies to use abilities to save him potentially. It gets a lot of value. There were a good few times you walked past stitches to try to tongue a backliner, and oftentimes you miss because they're just harder to land tongue on. Stitches is right in front of you. Cue him. I think, yeah. As far as Dehaka specific information, that's it. And then also, sort of as a side note, just remember to try and push your advantages. You get 2 kills, level 20, a boss, just push bot keep. You get a top boss, push with that. kind of just wasted a whole bunch of advantages. You still won, so it doesn't look that bad, but you could have gotten more value, I think. Trying to think if there's anything else. I'm pretty sure that was it. Just like play Dehaka more opportunistically in flanks and clear better. And don't be afraid to tongue the tank. Yeah, I think those are all my major points. All right, I will get this posted shortly. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. Otherwise, good luck in your future games.